You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Revolution After Show right here on AFTERBUZZ TV. Being is for doing, and I'm your host, Megan Thomas. And with me are the two most handsome men this side of heaven. Okay, never mind. Introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Well, my ego is going through my headphones right now because of that lovely compliment. But I am Brandon London, the cultured athlete, and I've really missed you guys. Really missed you guys because 2 weeks ago I missed. Last week it was preempted.
Yeah.
Happy to be back.
Yes.
And I'm your host, Larice, Shamar. You know, I can't even compete with that message. News media broadcast, by the way. But I'm here tonight.
All right, so we're talking about episode 14, the night the lights went out in Georgia.
Georgia.
We talked about the Georgia Federation at the last episode, and we were talking about how we would really want to rock with the Georgia Federation because they are the bomb, as we find out in this episode.
It's kind of classy.
Yeah, everybody's dressed nice.
Suit and tie.
Hillary Clinton as president. That woman, she don't play. She does not play.
She doesn't, right?
So bitter cougar.
Very. So the episode starts off with Sebastian Monroe, and he is kind of perturbed. He's kind of mad because they find out from one of his officers that Major Neville and his wife have fled their home. Remember in the last episode, they were packing up?
Yeah.
So now they find out that they've left. And so Bass is trying to figure out why did they, what was the purpose? And so the officer tells him that the intel came back that his son Jason was still alive, that he's somewhere roaming these streets. Exactly.
Running the boy band.
Boy band is running the streets.
New identity.
Yeah, and we know that Bass has a lot of issues with trusting people already because, you know, he doesn't really have any friends, and he really trusted Major Neville. So now Major Neville's gone. And he now starts to suspect the officer who just came to tell him the information. He says, well, I saw you guys whispering before. What were you whispering about? And then he turns and he goes, and he shoots him.
That's evil paranoia at its best right there.
Right.
Yeah, that's paranoid.
I think he's going to lose it. Because he's not trusting anybody anymore. He's kind of like...
He has nobody because obviously Miles is gone, that was his brother, basically.
Yes,
and now Major Neville, whom he trusted, is gone. So now who does he have? He's got Randall.
And Rachel, who he kind of had a crush on, is gone as well.
Everybody got a crush on Rachel.
Do you think he really had a crush on her?
I think so.
I think he was just so power hungry.
Rubbing on the neck, playing with the hair and stuff.
I think he's just being a man. I don't think he really had a crush on her.
Okay.
I mean,
we wouldn't have crushed
if you say so. If you say so.
So we cut to the 4 spies who have been killed, pretty much. We see that they're rebels, and they came all this way to tell Miles that the nuke has been has left the Monroe Republic, and it's on its way to the Georgia
Atlanta, baby.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Atlanta's the capital of an entire nation.
It's the closest.
Right. So they had a note on them, and it said that these nukes are going down there. Why do you think that Sebastian is sending the nukes there?
It's the closest. It's the closest one to him.
In terms of other federations and stuff.
Well, that's true.
So take out Georgia first before you go on to Texas and the West Coast. What was it? Yeah, the West Coast and stuff. That does make sense. And as we later found out that the Georgia Federation, what would they call it? Madam President? Yes. Madam President did say she outnumbered the Monroe Republic 2-1 in soldiers.
Yes.
So you take that out, you take the foot soldiers out, or you threaten with nukes and you control an extra amount of foot soldiers. Yeah. Now you're ready to take over Texas, come to the West Coast.
Yeah, and Miles also did say later on that the South is the weather's better, the land's better,
they're richer.
They're richer. Their allies are in England, because they got steamboats and steam trucks and all this stuff.
They just started trading. You did say,
isn't that amazing?
Yeah, they have a lot going on in action in Georgia Republic. It makes you like you want to kind of be there because you look at Monroe's and how everything that the way they kind of live in life, and like as you saw with Miles and Charlie was kind of surprised to see a steamboat, like a steam bus, just like driving past, and she was just like, do they have power? And they don't have power, but they have made such a way and made ties with so many other people and other countries that they're benefiting all the way around.
Right, like they're getting democracy, they're getting trade, global trade back up, even despite the lack of electricity.
But how cool is the show getting introduced and stuff like that? Because now we're learning about another federation. Like before, we're so stuck on, okay, he's got guns and we got the power on and all that. Now they walk into a farmer's market and like you say,
everybody's happy.
I'm like, wow,
like, nice.
Buying flashlights and stuff. I'm like, man, what's that, the Grove?
They're just, I know, right? They're at the Grove in LA.
So sunny in Georgia.
Right, and then I feel also like you can see the cinematography's better too. It's like everything's brighter and happier, but then when they were in the Monroe Republic, it was darker. Grimier. Dark clothes. These people have on prints, honey. They got, white dresses on. I mean, it's just fabulous. So I personally would live, I'm moving to the Georgia Federation.
I'm moving to the South.
I am. I'm leaving the Monroe Republic.
I'm moving to the South.
So then Miles, Nora, and Charlie decide we've got to go to Georgia. We've got to warn them that these nukes are coming. And it's funny because never in her life has Charlie ever left this area. She's never gone off of the Monroe Republic. So now, as she's crossing the gate, she's just looking back, and Miles calls her a hick, which I think is hilarious because he's like, you haven't been anywhere, child. Poor child. But it's true. I mean, if you live back, there's no electricity. Where do you go?
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you leave?
Yeah.
He's gonna walk.
Where are we going for vacation?
Next door. We're going next door.
There's no such thing. So they get there and they decide they're going to, there's a cabin where the Georgia Federation soldiers are. So they send Charlie to go knock on the door. She unbuttons her blouse a little bit to get a little cute.
Asking for trouble.
But they find that the troops are already dead.
Yeah.
Because the Monroe spies, including Alec. Has already shown their faces and has killed these troops, and they pretty much thought the same thing that Miles did.
Yeah.
And it's because Miles trained Alec.
Pretty much they're trying to basically figure out how to get into the Georgia Republic without basically being like, hey, we're from the northern side. So they both kind of had the idea of, hey, let me take a couple military uniforms as they do in current days now. So, same tactics.
Exactly.
Same tactics.
Same tactics. So then they get the uniforms that are on the dead soldiers. And then we see that Aaron and Rachel Matheson are on their way to Tower 12. To the 12th floor, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And on their way there, they get stopped by a couple of soldiers. But they're going to look for Jane.
Scientist Jane.
Scientist extraordinaire Jane.
Yeah.
Who knows the ins and outs of Tower 12, like the 12th floor especially, like nobody's business. So they're like, we've got to find her. We've got to get this information. And while they're looking for her, they're about to get beaten up, killed,
attacked.
And Jane comes with this boom.
What kind of War of Warcraft?
I mean, it was just kind of like surprise. It caught me by surprise. It was like, they're burnt.
He was like, I'm burning inside, dude. Like, what's going on?
What was that?
Automatically, I started thinking about season 1, the lady who had the poison. Their friend. I was like, oh, is this another one of those situations? Does Rachel know something? Did she do something? Yeah. And then they go to find out that Jane comes out of nowhere with the I don't even know what to call that, but that's a pretty interesting. There's some nice gizmo gadgets going on.
They do. These scientists are amazing.
Because even the other guy whose house they went to, the other scientist.
Oh, yes, John.
Monroe came, he had some pretty nice weapons.
He had that sonic boom knockout
all these tech
thing.
people. Rachel know all the tech people.
Because she's a tech person.
Yeah, but
how do you know where they live? First of all, how do you even know where they live? Like, do they even still live in the same place?
Well, I mean, I think that's what she went to go check. Like, this is where she used to live. Maybe she still lives there. I don't know. But I thought it was really funny because after they see Jane with her little burn device, you know, Aaron is visibly upset and just looking like, whoa. And then Jane goes, you guys want some sandwiches?
I mean, if I saw two people being burnt right in front of me, I'd probably be like, should we trust her too? But at the same time, like, Rachel know her, so we have no choice but to, trust her because, one, she saved our lives.
Yes, exactly. And what does Aaron say? He's like, I'm not even hungry anymore.
I'd be like, let's eat. I'm a food person. I'm like, let's eat.
But she gets them back when they get to the house because she's like, can we get the chubby gentleman something to snack on?
Such an insult.
And you see he didn't turn the food down. He's like, okay.
Of course, I would.
Free meal?
Right.
I've been eating on acorns all week.
Tree bark.
So we see that Miles and Nora and also Charlie they got the uniforms on. They infiltrated the Georgia Federation. Now they're looking for the nuke, and they know Alec and the rest of the crew have it. And Alec is it was really smart what they did. They had flashlights. And they were like, obviously, wherever the nuke is, there's power. So if we take these, we'll see where it is. And I thought that was genius because I really thought, like, how are they going to find this thing?
Genius.
That was smart.
And I like how they introduced it, you know, how they wrote that in, how the writers kind of wrote that in. Because immediately when they said that, I was thinking, the flashlight's going to have something to do with the storyline.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then they go, you know, they worked that in the way they did. So that was pretty cool.
Yes. And so here comes the ultimate showdown. So
Alec
and Miles come face to face, and we find out here that Alec knows Miles very well. Matter of fact, he was trained by Miles. He's a sidekick.
Yes.
Because they get into a fight, and Alec beats the brakes off of Miles. Calls him old man. He almost had him if it weren't
for the old
Charlie
versus
and
the
her.
young.
Right. If it wasn't for Charlie and that bow and arrow of hers.
But this is my thing. If she really wanted to kill him, you're just going to shoot him in the shoulder?
No, I thought she was shooting for the heart. I think she did very well.
That was like a high shoulder.
Very well.
Did
she
you not
lets
see?
people live. How is that very well?
She's a killer now.
No, she's not.
She's a killer now.
Soft side tonight.
Yes, again.
She didn't. She tried to kill him.
No, she did not.
I think that's a flesh wound. That's one of those.
Exactly what it was, a flesh wound.
Undercover cop.
I think that Alec is such a well-trained officer, and because he had to go through that torturous few years that he mentioned in Texas, that he's become so immune. Like, he's superhuman. He has superhuman strength now. So she was aiming for the heart. She was a little off.
He did the Matrix.
But it was gangster how he pulled it out though, like
Because I would have been like,
it hurts. I would have fallen back like, oh, this hurts so bad. But it's crazy because, you know, he pulls that out. She runs. She goes to chase after him, and the craziness of the stuff that he tells her later on, which is, don't trust him.
Don't trust Miles.
Don't trust.
Don't trust him. Matter of fact, why don't you ask Niles what he did to your mother?
It's kind of
that right. That was that's reverse psychology.
Kind of a touching thing. Yeah. But at the same time, like when they actually came to their encounter at the jail, like Alec did not like aggressively try to kill her. He was just like, okay, cool. You know, you're probably just like me because Miles trained me and he kind of brought me in and taught me all these things. But in the end, he left me. You know, left me by myself, left me out to die, left me to hung for them to kind of do any type of harm towards me. So anyway, it's like he was kind of looking out for her. Yeah. But the craziest thing is like she tells him like, no, he's not gonna do that because he's my uncle. Why would you do that?
You know, and when she said that that's my uncle, I was like, why are you giving him this information? You don't know what he's gonna do with it.
But at the same time, he could have basically like showed her, but okay, cool, help me out, or she couldn't like, you know, play him to basically like, where's the bomb? Where's the nuclear weapon? And I can basically like, oh, I can at least take the weapon, to Miles, or I can give assistance.
He was not going to give her the information.
Still, she's not there yet. She's still not there yet.
She's not Nora yet.
Bear. Yeah.
I mean, maybe she is. She's not smarter than
the average bear.
I mean, she needs experience, because you have to understand this is still very new to her. A lot has happened to her in the course of, a few months, a
She
year.
is a lot better than when she started off.
Exactly. She's a lot tougher.
We don't want to go back to
cookie.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Alec runs off. He shoots the cop. He shoots one of the Georgia Federation cops. And then he tells Miles, oh, no, you're going to get blamed from this. He runs off. Miles looks at the dead cop guy, and instead of running immediately, here come the other Georgia Federation cops, who then apprehend him.
Yeah.
If he ran, he would have got shot. He would have been shot.
At the same time, like, if I saw you shoot somebody, I'm like, oh, cool. I'm still running after you. I'm not gonna be like, oh, okay, let me kind of console you right now. And then, like, when he see the Georgia Federation, he's like, oh, now I gotta leave.
Especially when Alec says, no, you're gonna get blamed for this. What is your first immediate thought when you hear somebody say that and they shoot someone?
I'm running.
Thank you.
I'm running. I'm running.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna stand there, Brandon?
He's gonna get caught. I'm gonna be gone.
I probably would have been caught.
Okay, so you would have gotten caught like Miles.
Someone get this guy some help. That was me. Soft.
Oh, that was so nice.
He's already dead.
I know, and you're dead for that.
Yeah.
You didn't make it.
Fast as fast can be. Won't catch me.
Captured.
Yeah.
Captured. And then he gets sent off to Kelly, Madam President, who he knows because he calls her by her first name.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what happens between them. What do you guys think has happened between them?
I think they have probably had an altercation before between the whole separation between the Monroe Republic and the Georgia Federation. They have had some encounters before. So
do you think they've been all military encounters?
I think it was on a personal level.
I think it's always a personal level with Miles now.
And because he hurts everybody.
Yeah.
He hurts everybody that he deals with. And they had something going, but I'm guessing he had to pick between Monroe and Kelly, Madam President. So I'm thinking that's how that split happened with the Georgia Federation.
I'm going with Brandon tonight. You on your own tonight.
Okay, well, I mean, perhaps, but I do think they had.
She was bitter.
Okay, she was bitter. Exactly. I think that there was some kind of love thing going on, because she said, when I had the chance, I should have slit you then.
Yeah.
And so that sounds like a woman scorned.
That sounds like Medea right there.
It hurts so bad.
I mean, the wrath of a
gracious.
woman scorned. She was very, very angry.
was.
So I think they must have had a little love thing.
Little something.
Could have been.
Something.
You know,
but
he broke her heart. So she's nice because she lets him go. He tells her, there's going to be some stuff that happens because the helicopters come, they drop these little flyers that say there's
That was a great marketing tool. Well, I
Great
swear, they was just like, oh.
Great market. Can you put my website on there and then
Really,
drop
like,
it?
www.
And they drop
Nuclear bomb.
hundreds of them. They get these printed, and it says there's a nuclear event.
Whoa. How did they get this whole printing mechanism with no power?
No, they have power now in the Monroe Republic.
But still, like,
They got a print press. Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, Steam,
and it was nice, legible.
they have power now, so they can do these things.
Times New Roman font, like everything. It was nice.
Graphic designers and everything, like, head of the game.
I know. They got a whole marketing department in the Monroe Republic now.
Out of control.
I thought it was money coming down at first. I was like, oh,
Yes.
they throwing out money. And I was like,
But then you saw the Monroe symbol on the back, so then it was kind of like,
The crowd is panicked.
they are
The
panicked.
They did
people of
panic.
the Georgia Federation are now panicked.
And Madam President knows this, and so she's between a rock and a hard place, because then here comes Miles, and she knows that Sebastian Monroe is going to blow them up with a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And of course, Miles is like, look, you really don't have any choice right now. You can let us all get burnt up, including myself, or you can at least let me try to find this guy, because I trained him myself.
I know.
Yeah.
So I think she did the right thing by saying, go ahead and go.
She did.
yeah. I mean, the whole interesting thing is that when Miles gets out and everybody kind of like running for shelter and everything, Miles has always had this keen eye sense out of his peripheral that he saw, like, Alex like going into the building, and as they go search the building and everything, Alex kind of sitting there on his last leg. I don't know if he kind of having second thoughts, or because of the great shot that Charlie did, he kind of like wounded and weak. But at the same time, he's kind of like sitting there, and Miles is like walks towards him, and he's just like, he understands that he's there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it kind of basically pans back to 9 years prior as of what happened to Alec and why Alec feels so bitter towards Miles, which I thought was like, Miles is only doing his job, though.
I think so, and you see a different side of Miles. This side of Miles is very, very cold in the flashback, because now we kind of see the nicer side. He's with his niece. He's a little more caring about people. Yeah. And in this flashback, we see that poor little Alec comes back to his mentor, and he hugs him, and he's happy because he went to kill the Texas General Blanchard, and he misses. Yeah. Or he wings them. What is
wings them? Winged them. You just hit him. You clipped him. Kind of what Charlie did to him.
What Charlie did.
You winged him, clipped him. You had a job to do, soldier. I understand. You're my little broski woski, and you know I trained you, but I've trained you not to miss. I've trained you. I personally sent you down there to go get this done. So technically, we don't want to go to war. It's your fault if we go to war.
And they made you.
I have to send you. Yeah. I have to send you. It has nothing to do with, you know, you my man, 50 grand. You know, I loved you, groomed you, but I can't put everybody in jeopardy.
You know what? I feel like they should have been a little more clever about that. They have prisoners in the Monroe Republic. I feel like they could have found somebody that looked like Alec and sent him and said, sorry, that's what you're going to do. You're going to be Alec. And of course, he's going to be like, that's not me. That's not me. No. But I feel like they could have sent a replacement.
I mean, but I think it's just a situation where every man's for themselves. If you're a man, you have to basically kind of own up to your right and your wrong. And that's just what it was. And Miles just kind of like, he just told him, it's like, there's nothing I can do for you, you know, and just kind of took him away. But at the same time, we kind of understand where Alec's hurt is from towards Miles, you know, when they kind of in the Georgia Republic. And then again, they had another wonderful fight scene. I like that one move that he did when, you know, Miles kind of kicked his knee.
Hold on, we don't get there. But I felt sad for Alec. I really did, because this, you know, you could tell this is his mentor. He's looked up to him, and for him to be like, basically, I'm sending you to the most torturous place, because you're about to go to jail pretty much, and these people are going to treat you like trash for a long time, which they did. So now Alec comes back, and he's totally messed up in the head. He's like, you know, and for him, he did this for the Republic, so that the Republic wouldn't get decimated by the Texas Federation. Yeah. So in a way, I can understand where his hatred and anger comes from, because he feels like he's a patriot. And then, of course, he comes back to the Monroe Republic.
Exactly, he comes back.
I know, but guess what? Miles is gone.
Miles is gone. Like he wouldn't even the general though. Like, I mean, Miles picked up and just left.
Things happen.
See, y'all so heartless.
better life.
So cold. Goodness.
I want to be a bartender in Chicago.
Hey. Goodness. Okay, so let's talk about, let's go back to Aaron and Rachel. Yeah. They're now at Jane's house. We meet Jane and her partner, Beth, and we see that that Rachel tells Jane, look, I gotta go to the tower. I need your help. You know the tower very well. We're gonna shut these nanites off.
The nanites.
And of course, dun dun dun, Jane tells us, no, you're not gonna do that, because her wife has stage 4 cancer. And she says she's been living with stage 4 cancer for 16 years.
But at the same time,
because of the nanites.
Danny had cancer too.
Had something wrong with him. But here's the thing, but he's dead, okay? So he's dead. So I can see where Jane is coming from. Like, okay, so now your son's dead. Now you want to go shut the nanites off because it's not going to kill your son. He's already dead. But you're okay with killing my wife?
Oh.
That's why I understand why Jane was mad. Because it's like, okay, well, you didn't do this beforehand, and of course she doesn't know the backstory.
Yeah. But she was captured before, so she.
But I don't think that, you know, they didn't show that was explained to Jane, so maybe she didn't understand. But the whole point is, okay, so now you're okay with going to shut the nanites off because your son's not going to die as a result, but my wife has to.
Yeah, I mean.
So do you guys think that it was okay for Jane to be like, no, I'm not going to help you? Or do you think Jane should have been like, you know what, that's okay. I sacrificed my wife to save everybody else.
I mean, of course, that's her loved one. That's her partner. You know, that's her rock. If the lady goes, if her partner goes, then she's alone in this world of chaos and no power and stuff like that. So you can expect her to be selfish and want to keep her partner, her lover alive. And especially, I mean, come on now, if my wife, you know, if somebody wanted to take Paula Patton's nanites away, then And I'm a hate. No, you're not taking her night.
Then her husband, Robin Thicke, would be mad, not you.
They married?
Yes, she has a husband.
I think so.
So I guess I can see what the issue is. And then, of course, now she is a guest in this woman's home. So then you see Rachel snooping around. Looking for something.
That's so weird, though. How do you go to somebody's house and just, like, snoop around like that? I'll be like, hey, what are you doing?
So, of course, Jane's like, what are you doing in my home? And you're snooping. So she's like, she's telling her, look, I got to find this stuff. And she's like, okay, would you have done it again for your son? If he was alive, all the stuff that happened, would you have done it again for him? And she says, no.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Does that make her a bad parent?
No.
Because she says no?
No.
Because she's thinking it's bigger than just her son.
That's
It's a world. It's a world.
Yes, that's big.
But I think it's more so that I think when she says she wouldn't do it again, that she wouldn't actually like help create the nanites, and so which actually caused the power to go off, and which actually caused all the chaos that they are experiencing. Which Jane doesn't understand what Rachel has been through and what Rachel has lost, because Rachel lost her husband, and she lost her kids and her family for like 10, 15 years. Before all this actually took place, then she lost her husband, then she lost her son, and she feels like she's just losing everything in her life, and she don't want anybody else to kind of lose how she has lost in her life. So I think that's the bigger picture. Yeah,
and I think it goes to show that she's at a point now where she sees a bigger picture. Yeah. Other people don't, and she's trying to help them get on board. And of course, Shane's like, no way, again, I'm not going to do that. But then her wife overhears her. Yeah. And she says, give her what she wants, or I will slit my own wrists, and you will have to go and help her.
That's powerful.
That's very powerful.
Yeah. That was powerful.
That was deep. So, of course, she's so sad. So now Jane's sad because she's like, basically, my wife's going to die. But she's been blessed to have her wife who has stage 4 cancer for 16 years. A lot of people with stage 4 cancer, their loved ones don't get them for that long.
Yeah, probably like 3 months.
And maybe,
right, if that.
And maybe because since the nanos have been in her system for 16 years, maybe she can live a little bit longer. I mean, maybe it could be a situation like that now.
Because she said it's been eating away at the tumor, so, little by little.
I'm hoping something good comes out of that.
Well, let's see what our viewers have to say. Make sure you go to iTunes, download us, rate us. We are live streaming now for Android, iPad, iPhones. We just want to kind of know what our friends, everybody who's watching with us tonight, what do you think what will happen if they actually cut the power back on and the nanites actually like die? Would they actually live again, or would they actually live longer? So please go to iTunes, rate us, tell us how we're doing. Make sure you give us a star number 5, and make sure that comment, please.
Yes. Comments. We want comments.
It only takes a minute.
It does. It only takes a quick second. And tell your friends and your friends' friends and your friends' friends. Please. So now we go back to, so she gets the book.
She gets the book.
She gets the book with all the information, and Jane tells her everything you need to know about the towers in this book.
And guess what she said? Get out!
And she says, get out. But rightly so. She's snooping around her stuff. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So they go. And then we have Miles, who catches back up. Now the people are in a panic. They're running out of the city. Yeah. Miles is very smart. He says, they're going to put the bomb where the people are going to, not running from.
Right. Yeah.
So as he's looking through the crowd, somehow he amazingly and miraculously sees Alec out of the corner of his eye, in his peripheral. He sees Alec running up these stairs in the dark. I don't know how he notices this.
A dark man running up the dark.
Yes.
So,
and hundreds of thousands of people are running past you, and he notices that.
Miles
so
cool
some way, shape, or fashion, Miles sees this, and he goes after him. He comes across Alec, who has already set up everything to go ahead and detonate this nuke, and he's telling him you don't have to do it. And of course, Alec says, like, who are you? You sent me to go pretty much die. Yeah. And I come back, you're no longer with the Monroe Republic. I feel like it was all in vain. So then they get into this fight scene.
It's a good fight.
It's a good fight.
Two great fights in one episode. I like it. Keep doing it.
Keep doing it. J.J. Abrams, keep it up. Keep it up,
and
buddy.
I was a little scared. I know they're not going to kill Miles, but I was wondering if he would get like a limb maybe severed, a finger severed, something. They can't happen to the main character, but he ends up doing that move.
Hey, that move was sweet.
Yeah, Bruce Lee move where he knocks his knee down, turns him over, and kills him with his own knife.
That's called great military tactics.
Great military.
But I was sad for Alec because it seems like he never had a chance. Like,
He had a chance.
He had an episode. He had a whole episode.
He had a lot of chances out there. But you know, it's kind of coincidental, though, that even though he went down to Texas and then Mal kind of disowned him, he went to like jail, prison, whatever, he came back to the Monroe Republic and they kind of sent him out on the same type mission again. And think about it, he knew that if he would have set out the nuclear weapon, he wasn't coming back anyway. So it's like, I would have kind of thought about like, why would I kind of be a suicide bomber for someone who kind of sent me away for so long and gave me all these like bruises and lashes and basically disrupted my life, and I'm gonna go and basically set off a nuclear bomb.
I think it was something like he wanted to prove himself. You know, kind of.
No, yeah, well, I mean, redemption for what he did, for the reason why he went to Texas.
Yeah. Kind of like Neville's last mission. How Neville had to, you know, kind of redeem himself for letting Niles go.
I'm not gonna kill myself. I'll let you die, but I'm not gonna kill myself. Sorry.
Yes. So they're saying detonate, and then of course Bass gets on the microphone. He's like, Alec, go ahead, detonate the bomb, and nothing happens. Do you think that Miles should have said something back to
I would have. Like, yeah.
That's what he should have said. He should have gotten on the mic and said, yeah, really?
He's dead.
He's dead.
Do you think you should have also, Brandon?
At first, originally, yes, but after we talked about it when we were watching it, and keep that suspense, you know, keep him, you know, what's going on, what's wrong with Alec.
Yeah.
At least he'll know right away, okay, he's dead. Send somebody else, or, you know, plan B, plan A. At least now, you know, if you keep him in the dark, you keep him suspenseful, maybe you'll buy, you know, a day, 2 days before you can make your next plan, before, you know, Major General Monroe is the next order.
Yes, and I agree with you. I don't think that he should have said anything. I think just keep him in suspense. You know, maybe they'll be like, maybe it was the radio. Maybe, you know, just not have them know what's going on. And so this is a very tragic death for Miles. I think this is the first time that we actually see him like super sad about killing somebody. And I think it's because he feels like he let this boy down. Because that was his little protege, his little brother, and now he had to kill his little brother for the greater good.
I think in every episode now, like, you're starting to see, like, Miles kind of, like, that transition of him, his feelings, like, the softer sides, or really kind of feeling like he's at fault for everything that's kind of happening right now. And he's just basically trying to do everything possible to try to make things right. But there's only so much you can do to make things right.
Yes, and you see more of his humanity, and you see less of Charlie's, I think. I think it's like almost a role reversal as the episodes go on.
Charlie need to get her shooting game right.
Yes.
She only missed one time. She always hits people.
Exactly.
So you're allowed to have an off day. Everybody has an off day. Kobe's had an off day. Michael Jordan's had an off day. Everybody gets an off day. Charlie had her off day.
Okay.
Can we agree to that?
Well, let somebody have that off day when someone has a knife to you or something.
Please be off.
Please let this be an off day.
Just cut my hair. Just cut my hair.
But you know what? I think with how you say Charlie's becoming more tough and Niles is becoming more soft, it's getting to him. I think all of it's getting to him. And he's about to go back to the old Niles. Maybe permanently, however, but I feel like he's like just gonna go crazy and snap.
Yeah,
he and Monroe are just at the edge of their seats right now.
Yes, and you see that like because he's really sad and he's contemplating what happened, and of course Charlie comes out of nowhere. What'd you do to my mom? Because Alec said, you know, and he tells her something really really deep, which is, you know, people count on me, and people who count on me, they get let down, they get hurt because that's what I do.
That's what I
do. So
do.
get away from me, like whoa. That was the old. I feel like that was the old Miles that just resurfaced.
It's coming. If I was Charlie, I would be like, all right, I'm gonna walk away, but I still want to know what you did to my mom.
Right.
It's okay. I'll be quiet.
Still want to know.
Okay, so then the episode ends with Kelly asking Miles to become a general in her army, and she's gonna give him weapons and soldiers. Do you think he's gonna take it? Prediction.
Has to.
No.
You say no.
He has to.
I mean, but at the same time, like, I agree too, because what else is he going to do right now? Because he has no other task at the moment. So
okay, so you say no, Brandon.
I'm not fighting with the rebels. Like, I was Team Rebels before this episode. Now I'm Team Georgia Federation. He has to join the Federation because he's got soldiers. She wants him to do ambush them with the rebels while the foot soldiers for the Federation. He's like, I don't have that type of guy. I don't have that personnel.
Yes.
Like in football, for a football coach, you're not gonna give a slow kid a reverse. You know, you're gonna give it to the fast kid because you know your personnel, the best chances of your play to work. So he has to team up with the Georgia Federation to have even a shot, a minute shot.
I agree. I think he is.
But at the same time, they have that pendant now, so they kind of sort of got at least one source of power.
That's how long is that gonna last?
The pendants last whatever.
No, I'm saying before somebody else comes and takes it. We don't know. Somebody else might take it.
Nobody's gonna take it.
Randall knows how to get to the pendants. Remember?
He got to bring an army though.
Okay, I think that that Miles will join the Georgia Federation. He'll take the rebels and they'll link up, and then they're going to attack. It's next war. It's time for war, baby.
Instead of having a helicopter and dropping flyers, he could have just been shooting the whole...
I know, that's what I thought too.
And then drop some flyers.
Be like, rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Well, that is all that we have today. We had such an awesome time. Where can they find you guys at?
Wait a minute. They want to know their news and gossip, so we do the news and gossip. Last Monday was a preemption because of the Boston Marathon bombings, and that was terrible. But NBC has announced that the final episode has been pushed back to June 3rd.
Okay.
So the final season finale is going to be June 3rd. And you guys should go on NBC.com/Revolution and play one of the games. There's a game on there called Odds of Survival where they ask you a bunch of questions on what you would do in certain situations if the lighting was off or your food wasn't there. And they tell you your odds of survival, so you should definitely check that out.
Definitely. Brandon, you're dead already. All right. Go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
So right now, you can find me on Twitter @CulturedAthlete, Instagram @TheCulturedAthlete, website www.brendan-london.com. Check me out.
And you can find me @Larice Shamar on Twitter and True People's Instagram and True People's Media website.
And I'm your host, Megan Thomas. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining us. You can always find me on all of your social networks @MegScoop, like Scoop with ice cream. Thank you.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.